Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
From Aryan Khan and Ananya Pandey to Riya Chakrabarti, WhatsApp chats have been the Narcotics Control Bureau's supposed smoking guns in all its recent high-profile cases. But can WhatsApp messages actually land you in trouble, or more specifically in jail? The short answer is that WhatsApp chats can be cited as evidence in court, so it can land you in trouble, but only if certain conditions are met. The long answer is what I'll be giving you and explaining to you in this KYC episode. Now to understand the answer to this question, we'll have to first understand that WhatsApp chats come under the category of electronic evidence. Of course, the laws don't mention WhatsApp specifically, neither the Indian Evidence Act, which was passed way back in 1872, nor does the Information Technology Act, which was passed in the year 2000. But of course, with the Information Technology Act, the law did try to embrace the IT revolution, and this law gave sanctity to electronic records as evidence. So an electronic record could be any information or data recorded in electronic form. It could be an image file on your pen drive, or a photo clicked on your phone, or a WhatsApp message on your phone memory in this case. But there's another concept that needs to be understood here. Now in India, there's a concept of primary evidence and secondary evidence. The general rule is that where primary evidence is available, secondary evidence is not admissible. To give you a more concrete example, the sound recorder, CCTV camera, and attached hard disk used to record a video or an audio clip are all examples of primary evidence of its contents. Secondary evidence could be, say, a photocopy of a document. So it's not an original. But of course, it is different when it comes to electronic evidence, because large servers or original documents cannot be brought before court in every case. So in such cases, secondary evidence in the form of a printout or a soft copy in the form of a CD, DVD is admissible in a court as evidence, provided that certain conditions are met. These are the conditions that I mentioned at the start of this video. Just to clarify, in cases where NCB is relying on WhatsApp chats, of course, these are copies of WhatsApp chats, and therefore these are considered secondary evidence. Enter Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act. This provision basically lays down the conditions and procedure of proof of an electronic record in a court. It recognizes the fact that original primary evidence of electronic record cannot always be produced in court. So it allows copies or printouts to be admissible as evidence, provided that, again, certain conditions are met. Most of these conditions here relate to the integrity of the data, because this is very easy to tamper with. So these conditions are there to ensure that no unauthorized access to the data in question. There is no unauthorized access, plus the computer was functioning properly, and therefore the reproduction of data is accurate and genuine. Also, any such electronic record needs to be filed along with a certificate. This is very important. Under Section 65B(4), Subclause 4, this certificate needs to be issued by a person occupying a responsible position with respect to the computer from which the data is produced. And this certificate needs to mention a lot of things, like the identity of the device used, the manner of production of the record, etc. For example, if a printout of an image taken from a mobile camera is produced in court, the certificate will have to mention that this image was first transferred to a laptop and then printed. So mentioning this process of transfer helps to prove the integrity of the chain of movement of the data, to conclusively tell the court that the image wasn't tampered with. This is just to gain the trust of the court. And the Supreme Court recently clarified that such a certification is mandatory, or in other words, that secondary evidence of electronic record would be inadmissible if not accompanied by a certificate under Section 65B. Inadmissible basically means that the court cannot rely on it to convict any person. So to sum it up, a printout or screenshots of messages on a mobile phone will be considered as a secondary evidence and admissible in court, but only if it complies with Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act. Now the question is such a certificate required even when it comes to bail hearings as well? The judge denying bail to Aryan Khan did not think so, but the Punjab and Haryana High Court in a very recent decision did grant bail to an accused in a case that involved the NCB and contraband. We know by now that WhatsApp evidence is NCB's go-to trick, but the High Court granted bail to the accused while refusing to accept WhatsApp chats as evidence, because these messages weren't accompanied with a certificate. In fact, this is one of the pointers on which the order denying bail to Aryan Khan has been criticized, because it relied on Khan's WhatsApp chats with other people, even though there was no certificate under Section 65B accompanying these chats. Now, in his appeal, Aryan Khan has raised such points, of course, and he's also brought in a constitutional concept into this whole mix. Among other things, he's relied on Article 23 of the Constitution, which talks about the right against self-incrimination. This right says that no person accused of any offence shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. Self-incrimination essentially means saying or doing something that shows that you are guilty of a crime. So there are safeguards based on this constitutional right under various laws. For example, sections 25 and 27 of the Evidence Act, they make confessions made to the police officers of no value. Then we also have section 161 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, which allows anybody being examined by the police to not answer any question that might expose him to a criminal charge or a penalty. So basically, this also gives people a right to remain silent. So in his appeal, he has now said that since the NCB's entire case is based on WhatsApp chats which were recovered from his phone, but he has said that his phone itself was seized from him, violating provisions of the CRPC and Article 20 of the Constitution. He has also said that his statements made in police custody have also been relied on by the NCB, but they cannot be accepted as evidence. Now, how the Bombay High Court looks at these arguments is something, of course, that we'll have to wait and watch. This is Apurva Mandhani for ThePrint. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.